Welcome to the video introduction of your intercultural course. This video will focus on culture, what it is, and how it affects our communication, but also focus on Swedes, why they are the way they are, and why Sweden is one of the most difficult countries to move to. When we talk about culture today, we will focus on national culture. But culture is more than that. There is, for example, football culture, and we can use culture when describing levels of education, gender, and age groups. But this time, we'll focus on national culture. Culture is a shared system of understanding, how we make sense of the world around us. Therefore, it's not surprising that we often believe that our own culture is the best one, the most normal one. The problem is that everyone perceives their own culture as normal. Culture has often been compared to an iceberg, since it has a visible section above the waterline and an invisible under the waterline. Above the surface are aspects of culture which are easy to see, such as language, food, music, greetings, dress code, and we often find them exotic and fun when meeting others, because they are visible and we can respond to them. The part below the surface represents those elements which are not so obvious, such as values, beliefs, and attitudes. And sometimes we find this part provoking because it differs from our own. Like I said before, it's easy to believe that your own culture is the right one, the best one. This is not our approach today, and the idea of this film is not to make you Swedish, but to give you some clues to Swedish behavior, values, beliefs, and attitudes. So, what made Swedish culture? Sweden is a rather big country with a small population. 85% of the Swedes live in the cities, but the cities only make up 1.3% of the land area. The rest is villages, forests, lakes, mountains, countryside. There is space in Sweden. Winters are dark and cold. People follow that life cycle and cuddle up indoors during the winter. They come out again in April or May when the sun comes back. History then. Sweden hasn't been at war for 200 years. During the World Wars, Sweden kept a neutral position. The start of the Swedish welfare system was in the late 1920s and has been the foundation of Swedish politics since then. It is the backbone of the political system and has influenced every Swede, regardless if they want it or not. In an international perspective, even right-wing parties in Sweden are left-wing. The welfare system, also called folkhemmet, promotes fairness for the group. Everyone is the same, and there should be no differences between classes, genders, or within hierarchy. Everyone should have an equal standard of living, education, pension, healthcare, daycare, etc. Of course, this affects how the school system and daycare system is built, how taxes are distributed, and how people use external help. Parental leave is considered important, and most families split the 18 months in between them. Vab, taking care of your sick child, is an important benefit and is used by both parents. Being at home if your child is ill is seen as a must. Most Swedish children attend daycare, called dagis, and in most families both parents work full-time. The school system was changed in 2012 and grades are now given from year 6. It used to be year 8. That means that Swedish children grow up being assessed as a group, not as individuals. They often learn to exist in a group. The group symbolizes safety, and act independent. Often they don't learn to compete, to raise their voice or to strive for being the best. Swedish culture is independent but not individualistic. That is symbolized in that we all have the same black winter coat, but we want to believe it was an independent choice. The Jantelaw was an unwritten rule until the Dano-Norwegian author Axel Sandemose described it in a novel in 1933. Jante was the name of the made-up village in the novel, and Axel identified the laws of Jante as 10 rules. The core concept is that you shouldn't think that you're better than anyone else. It's often related to jealousy, a fear of success, and also a humbleness that might come across as false. We find it in Swedish idioms like speaking is silver, silence is gold. Your own praise smells bad. Everything in moderation. The nail that stands out will be knocked down. And the English one, the tall poppy gets kept down. It is not about not being who you are. It's not about becoming Swedish. It's about being aware of the cultural differences and how your cultural background affects your communication, your expectations, and your behavior. And knowing that the same goes for everyone. Due to the flat hierarchy, your Swedish colleagues will most likely give vague orders to team members, and they will most likely tell their manager straight out when they think that the manager is wrong. Nothing is right or wrong when it comes to culture. It is different. We will discuss this more in the cultural seminar. See you there.